Make America great again. Make America great again.
Make America great again.
This is the untold story of Trump's explosive first 100 days back in power. And by the end, you'll have to answer one question. Was this the rebirth of America or the beginning of its collapse? The morning of January 20th, 2025, broke cold and clear in Washington, D.C. The Capitol dome gleamed under the pale sun, as if the city itself was bracing for impact. The National Mall overflowed with red "Make America Great Again" hats waving beneath a sea of flags while just blocks away. Black-clad protesters marched and shouted, signaling a divided nation. Diesel fumes from idling news vans mingled with the metallic scent of temporary fencing, soon to be tested by history. At exactly noon, Donald J. Trump placed his hand on the same two Bibles he used in 2017 and recited the oath of office with solemn focus. His inaugural speech was short, just 22 minutes, but packed with 37 bold promises. It was the opening shot of a presidency that wasted no time. By 3:17 a.m. the next day, Trump signed his first executive order, restructuring the National Security Council to sideline career diplomats and install political loyalists. By sunrise, 3 more had followed: a freeze on federal regulations, another withdrawal from the Paris Climate Accords, and the return of the Remain in Mexico immigration policy. The West Wing felt less like a transition and more like a campaign headquarters at full throttle. In total, 144 executive actions were signed in just 100 days, nearly 1.5 per day. But it wasn't just the speed that shocked observers. It was the scale and aggressiveness. Immigration policies expanded bans to include Venezuela and several African nations, while ICE's budget tripled. Homeland Security, once a bureaucratic agency, suddenly became the most feared institution in Washington. The economy, too, saw a blitz of change. The American Renaissance tax cut slashed corporate taxes to 15% and eliminated top brackets, while a modest increase in child tax credits softened the optics. Analysts warned of a $3.2 trillion deficit spike over a decade, but the administration forged ahead. Trump also revived the Reciprocal Trade Act, giving himself authority to slap tariffs of up to 35% on nations he deemed unfair. Markets reacted violently. The Dow plunged 800 points after a tweet about teaching China a lesson. Export-dependent industries like agriculture collapsed overnight, while steel prices soared, prompting automakers to shift jobs overseas. Yet on Main Street, the picture was more complex. In places like Youngstown, Ohio, shuttered factories reopened, offering jobs building electric trucks but with far lower wages and no union protections. Across the Rust Belt, the new Patriot Zones program lured businesses to struggling counties with massive tax breaks. In exchange for sweeping exemptions from labor and environmental regulations, many towns accepted what critics called a devil's bargain just to stay afloat. But even as jobs returned, so did hardship. Inflation lingered near 5%. Food banks saw record demand. One viral TikTok featured a Walmart manager in Iowa breaking down in tears over employees who couldn't afford insulin despite working 50-hour weeks. Globally, the shocks kept coming. In a Fox News interview, Trump declared that the U.S. would take temporary stewardship of Gaza. Allies recoiled. Israel panicked. A hastily arranged peace through strength. Summit devolved into finger-pointing when American diplomats demanded European troops, but offered none of their own. Leaked memos revealed State Department warnings of irreparable alliance. Damage overruled by political appointees, citing the boss's instincts. Meanwhile, U.S.-China relations hit a dangerous low. Trade barbs turned into military standoffs in the South China Sea. All Confucius Institute teachers were expelled. A U.S. ambassador even gave Taiwan's president a Trump steak menu as a diplomatic gift. Beijing responded with a chilling cyber-attack, A blackout in San Diego that lasted 18 hours, interpreted as a warning shot. On the domestic front, Trump's cultural agenda ignited a storm. The Patriotic Education Initiative mandated controversial changes in how slavery, civil rights, and activism were taught in schools. Some teachers in blue states resisted quietly, while red states adopted nationalistic textbooks. Healthcare took more hits. Medicaid work requirements knocked 1.2 million off the rolls. Lifetime coverage caps returned, and abortion-related deductions vanished in a quiet IRS rule change. Planned Parenthood clinics saw demand for long-term birth control triple. Policing grew more militarized. The Justice Department launched Operation Safe Streets, deploying National Guard troops to Chicago, Baltimore, and Oakland. Body cam footage from a West Baltimore raid showing troops storming homes for misdemeanor warrants sparked global outrage. The ACLU stopped the program after 6 weeks, but not before tens of thousands were swept into the criminal justice system. Trump himself remained a constant, chaotic presence. His rally speeches grew longer and stranger, jumping from infrastructure to celebrity. Gossip to ominous warnings about deep state rats. The White House stopped holding daily briefings, reducing media access to pool reports. At one cabinet meeting, the president spent 15 minutes admiring the beautiful design of the border wall before suddenly threatening North Korea with nuclear force. Day 99 brought a stunning announcement: the American Sovereignty Restoration Act, flanked by generals and CEOs in the Rose Garden. Trump declared that the Federal Reserve, FCC, FTC, and SEC would be brought under direct White House control to eliminate bureaucratic sabotage. Legal experts called it the boldest power grab in modern U.S. history. The markets fell 1,200 points before trading was halted. Later that night, as protesters clashed with police outside Mar-a-Lago, it emerged that the sweeping order had been drafted by a 29-year-old speechwriter with no economic background, rushed through without legal review. The boss wanted a big finish, one aide explained. It was a fitting end to 100 days marked by sheer force of will, disruption, and raw unpredictability. As the dust settled, one question loomed large. Was this the revival of American strength through a dangerous flirtation with authoritarianism? How much disruption could the system absorb before something gave way? And most unsettling of all, if this was just the beginning, what on earth might come next?